Hey everybody, it's Michael Gelini from Metro New York. I'm the luxury sales manager over there. I work for Treasury Wine Estates, and joining me today is Sandy Duda. She is the DM for South Jersey in New Jersey for Treasury Wine Estates. How you doing, Sandy?
Hi, Michael. How are you?
Very good. I like that shirt you have.
I wore it today, so it matches the Matua bottle,
Look at that. That's fancy.
right?
I wore dark blue, so I compliment. So when you get the bottle cold, I don't know if you knew this. When you get the bottle cold, the Tomoko back there behind the label itself gets really dark, and then the snowflake over here is usually white. It turns blue, so I match the right color label.
Awesome. That's great.
Something to know. Something else.
Fine.
What's that?
Sorry. So with the being cold like that, we are the only wine that has that snowflake on it to show that it's cold and it's ready to drink.
When turns blue, it's chilled and ready. So and also too, behind the label, there's this blue mask that it's kind of subtle because maybe yours is not the label may not be up to temperature, or at least it's the way the camera's looking at your label. It's not as pronounced as it is on mine. So when this Tomoko comes out.
Yep.
But
Absolutely.
let me ask you a question. Do you have like 2 or 3 minutes to talk about this wine with me?
I do.
Good.
Matua is one of my favorite wines from New Zealand. I love this wine. There's a lot of grapefruit in it, very pronounced. The thing about Matua that I love is that it was the first Matua Sauvignon Blanc to come out of New Zealand.
It's also, I don't know if you knew this, it's also the first winery to come out of New Zealand. 1974, the Spence brothers were the first two to ever plant grapes in New Zealand.
Yes, yes. Another thing I like about Matua is Matua needs head of the family, which is very important in that culture to have, the first Sauvignon Blanc to come out and to being the head of the family.
The native Maori Indians, or the tribe down there, Matua means first head of the family, first to go. And the Spence brothers were actually gifted this Tomoko, which is the mask that the tribe wears. And it's a really big deal when they get a mask. And so the fact that we have the mask, the actual drawing of the mask on our label, really means something. It's an authentic part of this whole brand. I don't know if you knew this, but 90% of all Sauvignon Blanc out of New Zealand is a graft off the Spence clone. They actually have the name of the clone, the grape that they put for the Sauvignon Blanc. It's called the Spence clone. 90% of all Sauvignon Blanc is that clone. So it all kind of derives from Matua.
Yeah.
That's really cool. It's a great selling point, and it's really something to really talk about when you're selling it. Also important to know about Matua, screw cap. Legally, everything in New Zealand has to be a screw cap. Australia, they have the option, but everything in New Zealand has to be a screw cap.
The other thing with Matua is that 2016 and 2017 got 90 points from Wine Spectator, which is phenomenal to have back-to-back scores of 90 points.
What vintage are you drinking right now, Sandy?
I'm drinking 2019.
So New Jersey's a vintage ahead of us. New York is on 18. So 18 got an 89 point rating.
89.
So not so bad. It's very consistent, and I'm sure the 19 will get the same. And that's just difference of the states. They go through a lot more because they're a larger state in consumption. So they buy a little bit more over New Jersey. So it's just the difference. But there's a house style to Matua, and you nailed it earlier when you said a lot of grapefruit. I also get a lot of like jalapeno in there, a lot of cilantro and jalapeno, but the marked difference of this wine to our competitive set, which would be like Villa Maria or Brancott, definitely Kim Crawford would be a competitor.
Yes.
I get a little bit more like passion fruit and guava in the background. So there's much more tropical notes to this versus our competitive set. Nothing wrong with it. Our competitive set just has that grapefruit citrus right up front, and that's kind of all that they hang their hat on. I just find there's a little bit more going on in this bottle of wine.
And that's why I like the Matua as well, is because there is a lot of different components going on in there. The tropical fruit that you mentioned.
Yeah.
Um, you still have that grapefruit taste, but you also have them other flavors that are coming in, which enhances the wine.
I think it's great, and it's finally a sunny day here in Metro New York.
Mm.
Philly as well too. So I very the perfect day for this kind of wine. I think when you get in the doldrums of winter, maybe not so much, but you find whatever you want. But as we're getting into the summer months, this is a perfect refresher. Keep it chilled, and it's going to be awesome. It's going to sell off your shelves, and it's going to sell right off your wine list and by the glass programs. I think you are focused more on off-premise, Sandy. You see this a lot in cold boxes, I'm sure, which does really, really well.
It does. So a little fun fact is the second place people shop is from the cold box. So it's very important to have this wine in the cold box because that's where people go.
When it's cold, it's sold.
That's right. You would like to have this at eye level, especially next to Kim Crawford. Kim Crawford is the #1 selling Sauvignon Blanc. So you would want to be paired right next to it. Hopefully people would trade to your brand, especially with the standout label that it has. In the cold box, it pops. It's got that blue color. It stands out.
Yeah.
You definitely want this in the cold box.
And for on-premise, it's perfect. It just drinks so well. People want to have a second glass of this. The packaging jumps right off the shelf, and if you put it on the back bar on the display piece, it just does really well. And consumers know this wine, and they know it really well, so they feel very comfortable buying this bottle of wine for by the glass or by the bottle. Well, thanks, Sandy. Thanks for your time today, and it was great tasting some wines with you.
Cheers.
Cheers.